Okay then, welcome back to Group B here of Day 3 of the International Dota Championships. Western Qualifiers. We're still in our first game. It's gone all the way to 3 games. It's tied up 1-1 between Mousesports and ICCup. We've got no time to waste, Bruno. I love for statistics.
I do as well, but I also love games, so we should go into the game.
We should just go straight into it. A little bit behind schedule. We're going to try and catch up. So Andy, web us. Let's get into it.
Well, it's game number 3 between Mouse and ICCup here, and this is the game that you want to win. You do not want to get knocked down into the lower bracket right now. It's the first group, or not the first group, but second group, first game of the day. Mousesports, they took a pretty bad beating in game number 2. I got to admit, game number 1, ICCup, we actually praised them. Even though they didn't win, they still managed to run a pretty, not unorthodox style, but not totally normal either. And they also managed to farm very well, given the fact that they had no map control. Second game, they kind of just walked all over Mouse.
I mean, ICCup in the first game kind of felt like they had control over the game. They just didn't shut down the farmers enough. And in the second game, they pretty much had the same lineup. It's just that they've properly shut down Black on the farmer. He got some last hits. I mean, he kept up in last hit, but he just didn't get that farm because he had to go play really defensive. He didn't just burst away like he did in the first game. So we'll have to see what Mousesports wants to do this game, since they pretty much ran the same lineup in the first and second game. They might want to try and change stuff up, maybe run a proper aggressive tri-lane, I'd say, because the Bane and Windrunner didn't really work out in this game, or in last game.
That tri-lane, to me, just didn't really feel like it had a high chance of success. I thought the idea of picking up Enfeeble at level 1 was pretty good, but Qualifier still couldn't freely go to the creep wave and get anything. That's really where the lane kind of fell apart. So for Mouse, they keep running the 3-core strategy. Fata, of course, got his hands on Slark for the second game in a row. We didn't really feel his presence in that game. The first game, he was given room, as James said, just because ICCup didn't really feel like they were playing quite at their full potential. But now we've had a chance to see it. ICCup easily, in my opinion, could take games off of any other team in this group.
The Slark pick, I don't think is really worth it for Mouse, because the only reason it worked in the first game is because ICCup didn't really keep the pressure up. Now, in the second game, they move together, and they show that Slark is not going to work against us, because we're just going to move as 5, and you won't be able to pick anyone off. The Nature's Prophet got enough farm to be able to survive. Even though he picked up Dust, it wasn't enough. So, draft going through, ICCup getting their hands on Batrider as the first pick.
The Mouse are going to immediately answer with that Lifestealer that they're such a big fan of, and they also get to give Qualifier that Nature's Prophet. Now, we've got a chance to see ICCup play it 2 times in a row, but we haven't gotten to see Mouse play it so far. And Qualifier, the last time I checked, this is the hero that he actually became known for in Mousesports, just playing him over and over again before he actually fully joined the roster, like when he first started playing for Mousesports. So I'm excited to see Mousesports pick something a little bit different. Awesome to see ICCup not first picking the Nature's Prophet and going with their exact same lineup that they've already done for 2 games, pretty much. Of course, they didn't get a chance to get Mag, but now they have the choice. Do they want to get Nyx? Nyx has been kind of ignored so far in this best of 3.
A Shadow Demon wouldn't be a bad pickup either, just to be able to deny that from Mousesports. Shadow Demon overall is a very solid support, as well as you won't be able to deny Mousesports getting it, just because the Disrupt is such a good pickup for Mousesports to disrupt the Batriders fight. But they're actually going to go with a Gyrocopter as well as a Visage in the early stages. So instead of waiting until the next stage, they're just going to go with a Visage. So got one of their support heroes up.
Well, they're going to get Visage 2 games in a row. He actually played great last game, especially like when you see Visage, it's one of those heroes that either does amazing or just kind of flops. There's not really an in-between too often. And in that game, I want to say at around 10 minutes, he was level 7. He had a medallion, he had boots, and he had an extra 900 gold. So the tri-lane of ICCup in game number 2, completely dominant. Now Mousesports, they get even more aggressive potential, more mobility. They get the puck, a great vessel for the Lifestealer to infest into. Already has the Nature's Prophet if he wants to teleport around the map with him. So Mouse, they're getting heroes that I feel like are well within their comfort zone. And since I haven't seen ICCup really play the Batrider, I'm not sure what to expect in terms of his performance.
Mouse really got 3 signature heroes now. They got the Lifestealer for Black, Qualifier getting his hands on the Nature's Prophet, and then Fata gonna pick up that puck to go mid. Batrider, I'd say, works quite well in mid. You won't be able to kill off the puck, but you'll of course disrupt his farm quite a bit, just because puck is so hard to kill off in general. You got the phase shift, you got the orb as well as the silence, so it's just really hard in general to kill that hero, but you will get a lot of farm if you go for the Batrider mid, But we can also see him go in the jungle if they actually want to get another hero to go up against the puck, maybe a Queen of Pain. That works quite well against that hero as well.
Into the second ban phase now as ICCup have decided to take out the Windrunner, and Mousesports are going to go ahead and ban out a Darkseer. Another hero that, in this best of 3, hasn't really seen a whole lot of play, and by a whole lot I mean none. And Nyx also still available. Both these teams seemingly just not really caring too much about him. ICCup take the liberty of banning out the Shadow Demon, so they're not going to get countered by anything like a Disruption, as you had mentioned previously. So for ICCup, they have a Gyrocopter probably going to be running in a tri-lane, which leads me to believe the Batrider is going to be in a 1 versus 1. Perhaps not middle, but the one thing that ICCup have is that unpredictability, like where are their lanes actually going to be?
Visage, like we mentioned before, is or was before the tri-lane king, so you can of course run an aggressive tri-lane if you get another follow-up stun, say like Leshrac. I really want to see Leshrac. I haven't seen it being picked up, but it's just such a great hero to have in an aggressive tri-lane, especially if you have the slow together with the Visage. You can get the follow-up stun, and then the Gyrocopter has the Rocket Barrage. But ICCup played both the games before, defensive tri-lane, so we might not see them actually go for that aggressive tri-lane, especially... Or we'll have to wait and see what Mousesports goes for, but if they go for some aggressive supports, we're for sure going to see them running an aggressive tri-lane.
ICCup ban out the Lena, and now Mousesports, they're going to take out the Bane. Last game, of course, Pos was playing on that, to varying effect, I would say. Sometimes he had a decent Fiend's Grip, like on Resolution at the Tier 3 when they were pushing in top. That was really nice. They managed to stop the Primal Split. But in the second base push, when Jackal had the Aegis when they were going through mid, Pos got pushed so far away so quickly, and Resolution got a split off before the Fiend's Grip was even able to be cast. So I don't really think that Mousesports did themselves any favors by picking that hero in the second game. But the last ban is actually going to be a TA. ICCup, they're going to pick up their second support, and it's going to be a Rubik.
And that just shows, or screams, defensive tri-lane for me. Having the Rubik. Rubik, of course, we saw him in the first game. Mousesports actually used him as an aggressive support when they ran aggressive tri-lane. It's just that he's more of a defensive support, and now they got a really good combo in the solo... in the Visage, Rubik, as well as Gyrocopter for defensive purposes. So if Mousesport runs aggressive, they will have the defensive power as well as the nuke going out if Mousesport actually goes on the aggression. A hero I feel would be really, really good for Mousesports is a Nyx Assassin now. Still not planned out, still not picked. And will be another hero where they can actually jump in, or Nyx can actually jump into the Nyx and just start roaming around.
And Jakiro, the choice out here for Mousesports, this is a combo hero, I guess you could call it. You get the Ice Path, the Dual Breath, the Macro Pyre, you put it together with the puck, you keep people in place, and even in Fest and Nature's Wrath, they have a tremendous amount of AoE on the side of Mousesports. Not in the traditional sense. You look at Gyrocopter and you think, yeah, he's like an AoE hero with a call down, but in reality, Mousesports' AoE is actually quite a bit easier to utilize, but ICCup's last pick is going to be a Weaver. So for you, do you think this Weaver is the tri-lane hero, or do you think the Gyrocopter is going to go on the 1 versus 1 instead?
I think that Weaver is most likely going to go on the off lane. I'm guessing ICCup actually expects Black to be solo in that safe lane. We'll have to wait and see what support Mousesports picks up to know where they're actually going to run, because we've seen Black run in aggressive tri-lanes together with the 2 supports, of course. But if they run the Nyx in the safe lane, the Weaver is going to work great against that. So I'm guessing they're going to run the Weaver in the long lane. Even if it's against a Nature's Prophet, he's going to do really well. And then you have, of course, the defensive tri-lane out of ICCup with the Gyrocopter, Visage, and Rubik.
And Mousesports still looking at one more, trying to anticipate the laning choice here of ICCup as best they can. But they need another support. Like, there's no question about that. They have a Jakiro and a Lifestealer. They're going to need a third. Is it going to be something like a Disruptor? He's always available. The problem is that it's really difficult to hold down the team of ICCup right now. That's going to be the problem. They have so many good initiators. But the choice is going to be Leshrac. So it is still an aggressive lane by nature. They had the double stun with the Ice Path, the follow-up, and then they have, of course, the open wounds as well. So, unfortunately...
Hey. Oh, sorry, Andy. Yeah, apparently we've got a bug with Dota TV. You're actually putting out audio, but Dota TV isn't picking it up. So the choices are rehost. It might fix it. It's not chance this time. You can't look that angry. But yeah, we can rehost it then. This has happened actually twice to us now in terms of that's happened. Not sure why, but yeah, Dota TV. So, okay. So we're just going to get these guys. We're going to create a new game for them, just so you guys have sound in Dota TV. Do apologize for this. Some things are out of our control, but of course we'll try and rectify it as soon as possible. And ICCup and Mousesports eagerly waiting to play, so they're going to rejoin very quickly, and we'll start this up as soon as possible. So Bruno, there was a Leshrac picked up last.
Yes, and I saw the Leshrac right here.
So what do you make of the lanes in terms of the picks now?
Wait a minute. So it's here, right?
This
I feel
feels
they're
a lot more like,
Aggressive.
but it also feels a lot more like a Mousesports lineup as well.
Yeah.
So this is really when it comes down to game 3. Both teams have just gone, we're going back to what we know best. And Puck versus Batrider mid, it's going to be a lot more aggressive as an overall game, should be. So it's pretty much whoever plays best is going to win.
Yes. And there are only 2 farming heroes for each side. We have the Weaver and the Gyrocopter for ICCup, and the Prophet and the Lifestealer for Mouse. The thing about the Weaver versus Lifestealer matchup is that without the slow from Lifestealer, because Weaver also has Shukuchi, there's no way the Lifestealer can go and focus here unless there's some lockdown. I mean, there's plenty of lockdown going on, but Leshrac, it's really hard to catch with the Splitter when you're Weaver moving at max move speed.
It really comes down to me on the puck.
Yeah.
These ultimates from Fata are going to have to be on point and have to be good. And also, ICCup, their rotation last game with their supports was really good. It gets even more dangerous when you have a Batrider.
Yes.
If they get an early game advantage, they're not just going to look to take towers down. They're going to look to get kills behind towers and just get good initiations on. And hopefully that twin-headed dragon, Jakiro, is ready with some ice paths to shut down the initiations, because that's going to be important as well.
It's always tough with such mobile heroes like Batrider and Weaver. You have to be spot on with the ice path. Just one little miscalculation and you just whiff it and waste one of your most reliable stuns.
I wonder, I think Cinderin will be playing the Jakiro as
Yes.
well. So didn't have the best game last time on the Windrunner. So this time we'll see if he's able to kind of pick it up for his team. Andy, any status on how you feel about the game? Is everybody in, or have we still got...
Nope. We're missing 2 people. Apparently, Mouse and ICCup have people who are having issues connecting to Dota 2 network. ICCup still needs 1 more. Black did manage to connect to the game, so we're going to hopefully be getting that game started in just a second. Really apologize for the issues. I don't know what was wrong, because it said that I was, like, audible in Dota TV.
Yeah. It's a known bug.
Yeah.
It's actually a known bug. I've been told that. So,
Well, as soon as the last person from ICCup gets inside the game, we'll be good to go.
Yeah. Any favorites going into this matchup now you've seen the draft?
Well, honestly, I feel as though Mouse maybe got taken a little bit off guard and ICCup's playstyle last game. I mean, they smoked up with only 1 tier 1 tower down. That's really weird. Like, you don't see a 5-man smoke like that really early or anything like that, and it got such a big advantage because Black wasn't expecting it at all. They did a nice job of assuming map control past that point and kind of just taking away everything that Mouse had. When you pick a team that's really greedy, you have a 3-core, and you don't get farm, you lose the game. Like, that's just how it works. And since Quakefa did so poorly in the laning phase, the supports basically had to abandon him at some point. So I feel as though this is basically ICCup's game to lose.
So you think they should take the ICCup?
Yeah, I feel as though they performed well enough in the second game to warrant just taking Mouse and kicking him to the lower bracket.
I mean, how scary is that to the other members of the team, other teams in the group, sorry? You've got Cupid, Red Pandas, and EG.
Yeah.
If Mousesports drop down and you lose,
lose,
whoever
so-
loses from those, it's like you're playing for your tournament life. This is Mousesports in the lower bracket semi-finals. That's a huge, just a position that you don't want to put yourself in. A lot of people were looking at that first game. Okay, well, if something goes wrong, we'll probably get ICCup or Cupid Red Pandas to have Mousesports there. Who knows? And at the same time, the game that ICCup won, it was good. They played it really well, but Mousesports didn't play their best, and they still played with that Slark, and it was, I felt, well countered in just the style that ICCup put out. So this is really going to be ICCup's test now. They're up against Mousesports and they're feeling comfortable. It looks like we got all players back into the lobby, and we've got that started. So it's going to be all pick, of course. It's going to pick the same heroes again, and then we get started. So as I said before, last match, one apiece. Winner of this moves into the upper bracket finals. Loser goes down to the lower bracket semi-finals, and we'll be shortly moving on to EG versus QPAD Red Pandas coming up next. So let's see what happens. Best of luck to both teams. Andy and Wepaz, take it away.
Thanks, James. So for Mousesports, this is the game that they really have to prove themselves. I feel like they got a Mouse lineup, if you want to call it that. A team that they can just fight with if they really want to. They have a global presence from the Nature's Prophet. They have the puck for the initiation. But ICCup, I was really impressed with how well they were able to pressure Mouse in that last game. So looks like everything is good to go. We're having a little bit of discussion about ping. All the servers are being hosted Lux, so we haven't had any issues so far. Hopefully that's not going to be the case here for game number 3, and everyone is going to be just fine. But ICCup, they've already made a statement in beating Mouse once. Everybody looking at the groups, they said Mouse totally going to make it, and at least first, maybe second. EG probably going to take that other slot, whichever Mouse doesn't get to. But they've been brought to a game 3, and it's only the first series of the day.
It's still really well played by ICCup to just bring Mouse to game 3 like this. Like you mentioned though, Mouse got more of a Mouse lineup right now. The only downside I see in their lineup is that they can't really rotate their supports if they go an aggressive tri lane, because Jakira's Ice Path is kind of hard to have as a setup stun, and the Split Earth is not any easier to have as that setup stun. So of course they can rotate into mid if you get a Dream Call out from Farah, but other than that it's just going to be really hard for them to be able to roam around if they get a successful start in the aggressive tri lane and then move down towards mid. It's hard. I would have said that a Nyx Assassin would have been a great pickup. I don't dislike the Lesh by any means. It's just that a Nyx probably would have added a bit more in this lineup, but we can't really say too much since the game hasn't really started yet. We're still in a pause. We got some ping issues from ICCup, but hopefully they're going to get resolved as soon as possible.
Yeah, we actually asked them before the start of the series which was better for them, Lux or Stockholm servers, and they said Lux, so we decided to stick with that just to make sure that both teams would be on kind of even terms, because for Mouse it's not as big of a deal. So whatever the ping issues are, hopefully they're all resolved and we can get this game 3 started as soon as possible. But it's 1-1. ICCup looking to prove themselves here in the TI3 Western qualifiers. This is the first series of Group B, and if they manage to win this, they only have to win one more best of 3 after that to just straight up qualify. And for ICCup, that's got to be the goal. Even if you make it to the next round and then you lose, you still have to play again. So you really, really want to just take the 2 series and get that first qualification spot.
You really want to win, especially this first game, because this is going to be the big game. If they manage to knock out Mouse, like James mentioned, and then you have Mouse in the losers bracket semifinals, the team in the second game does not want to lose. That's just like so big, especially it's going to be another AL statement where they come in and they make a big statement going as they just knocked out one of the favorites to be, or not knocked down, but knocked down one of the favorites to go through and win it down to the lower bracket.
It looks like ICCup is having some real issues with the server, so I mean, this is basically up to Mouse. So if they want to try it, if Mouse are okay with remaking for better delay, so unfortunately, we're probably going to have to do another remake because we want to make sure every single team has even capability of playing. Like this is the one stage where you absolutely want to have everyone on the same page and of course on the same amount of ping. So we are going to have another remake, guys. We apologize for all the delays so far, but we are going to go ahead and make another lobby. So haven't had a chance to really see any play just yet. Haven't even seen the way the lanes are going to shape up. Of course, we had the mini-map up, and we were kind of predicting the defensive tri-lane coming out with the Gyrocopter, the Visage, and the Rubik. So I'm going to go ahead and make sure I actually have a broadcaster slot. Everything is all good to go. And hopefully this time, everything is going to be just fine. Stage is in the game. And we're getting into attempt number 3 of game number 3.
Hopefully it works.
Hopefully.
Let's hope their ping is down. We know that sometimes you can get server issues.
Yeah.
Of course, you can get a bad server, get back, and you get higher ping. So hopefully it's going to be resolved this game, and we can get the show on the road, maybe catch up some time.
Maybe.
But we'll have to wait and see. Now the fun part starts where we have to wait for the heroes, or for everybody to pick, and then just get their heroes. No, it's
they're just trolling.
What do
It
you
was a
want?
good troll, though, because I was like, please
I
God,
had
no.
to double check.
Yeah, I
was
had
like,
to look at the
is it
thing at
really?
the top of the load window, and I was like, oh dear.
Dear Lord.
But it's good that Mouse and everyone is staying in good spirits. Yeah, we've kind of delayed the first series a little bit, but we apologize for all of that stuff up until now. We're just trying to make sure that both these teams are on even playing terms. You don't want anyone having like 300 ping or anything crazy like that when you're playing with such a big stake on the line. It's probably going to be well over 2 million prize pool in a couple of days, and you want to be a part of that. And you don't want something like 250 or 300 ping separating you from having a chance to compete for that.
Especially when you're in Europe and you should have both of the teams should have 50 ping to the server. I mean, you don't want to have to play on US West ping after that. So hopefully it's resolved. I can actually just check in the console real quick, as it looks like they're actually really high on ping still. They're all up to 200, which is kind of annoying. So we'll have to see what happens. But it's looking like everybody's picked up their heroes, and we're gonna see what happens. Maybe it's gonna get lower now.
Well, I'm just making sure ping is okay, and apparently ICCup are still having some issues. But they're going to say play on, and Mouse are pretty much on the same page. So we're not really sure what the issue is, but apologies to ICCup. Not really sure what the other choice is. Mouse were nice enough to remake once. You can't really ask for more than that.
Yeah. I mean, they got a remake, as well as, like we said, new servers. So not much more we can do, but game is on their own. When I started introducing the teams.
Yeah. Of course, when ICCup, we're going to have Resolution playing that Bat Rider here in game number 3. Ouija Zik is going to be playing on that Visage. Always Want to Fly playing on the Rubik. Weaver going to be handled by Mag. And then finally Jackal going to be playing on that Gyrocopter.
And on the side of Mousesports, we got Synderen playing that Rubik. Fata has picked up the puck, heading mid. Koikwa playing his signature Nature's Prophet, at least signature in Mouse. Black, of course, playing that Lifestealer. And that leaves, of course, Paz playing the Leshrac.
And this is interesting to me because they're going to be sending the puck mid. They've pulled him some regeneration, at least if they took the same notes they did last game. Yeah, he starts with a Null Talisman, so 63 base damage. And he's going to be going up against the Bat Rider. This matchup, for me, you typically see the Bat Rider win, especially when you see the puck using his orb to farm. Sometimes we've even seen the puck die in one-on-one engagements in this middle lane against Bat Riders. So for Mouse, this puck is going to have to play extremely well. Once he gets 6, since ICCup seemingly are running their aggressive tri-lane, that's going to be a pretty easy lane for him to gank.
Mm-hmm. For sure, and we're going to have to see, like you said, how this lane is going to shape out. Up in the top lane, we're actually going to have Jackal playing on the Gyrocopter, going to go up against Koikwa, playing on the Nature's Prophet, and I really favor this matchup for Jackal on that Gyrocopter. He actually skilled Flat Cannon level 1, so he's going to be able to push Koikwa out of the lane. The Treants, of course, are going to do some nice harassment, but with the Flat Cannon range, he's always going to be able to get some extra attacks in on Koikwa.
Not only attacks, but just the extra gold, too. I mean, you get the kills on the Treants. At low level, it actually seems to be hurting him quite a bit. Jackal sitting at already below half health, and there was only 4 Treants there. As time goes on, though, every rank of Flat Cannon, of course, you get an extra shot, and once you get your phase boots up, you can actually just mow those things down like nobody's business. But Jackal is going to need a little while before he gets to that point, taking a couple extra right clicks here out of this Nature's Prophet, and Always Want to Fly in the bottom lane. He's going to get Ice Path after the open wounds. Black trying to secure another bit of damage, but unfortunately can't do it as Zik comes in and he throws out the Grave Chill. So probably not going to see a whole lot of action, at least in the top and the middle lane, but this bottom lane is going to be the one you want to keep an eye on.
Yeah, for sure. They're going to try and get Always Want to Fly as soon as he's out of position. Visage, generally quite a tanky hero, but most likely you want to get that Rubik just because he has that lift to be able to disrupt the fight if Mouse actually goes in for it. But Mouse for sure got the kill potential now. They got the Leshrac, they got the Jakiro as well as the Lifestealer. If they get an open wounds going, then the Ice Path will be easy to hit, and then you got the follow-up Split Earth, of course.
We'll see how well this Weaver can actually farm in this position. And there is actually one extra sentry, I believe, on the side of Mouse if they want to drop it down in lane. As we can see, Synderen is actually doing some warding of his own, so they're going to have vision of that bottom rune spot. But I'm thinking a little bit more passivity for a while. Wait until the puck hits 6 if you're Mouse. Wait until, at the very least, your Bat Rider has a Blink Dagger to try to make something happen. But in that sense, you kind of have to favor Mouse, because the puck, yeah, Blink is nice, but he still has great range. He can get that Dream Coil off after just using an orb and force these fights in the bottom lane very hard.
Mm-hmm. Bat really is going to need that blink dagger to be able to go in and pick someone up, but if he can farm it up easily or quick in this mid lane, right now it's quite even. Koik was actually, or Fada I mean, is a bit ahead, having that high base damage, and of course you can have the phase shift to dodge some of the stick and napalm to get him to lose the stacks. So he's getting
bottom lane.
mid.
Always want to fly. The follow-up dual breath is there. The open wound still activated. Pops the Diabolic Edict, and it's going to be a first blood actually going to Mag as Synderen goes down first. Zik throws out the Soul Assumption. They want to try to do extra damage to Pops, but they simply can't do it. So a 1-for-1. That was pretty much a photo finish in terms of getting the first blood. But Mag on that Weaver going to get the bonus gold.
Such a perfect targeting out of ICCup there. Everybody knew they were just going to hit Synderen. He was the one that was closest to everybody. Always want to fly, didn't even concentrate to try and survive that. He just right-clicked down Synderen.
Yeah, we're going to get a chance to actually check it out again here really quick. And they go in, and you think straight away that the first blood is going to go to Mouse. The open wounds was there. They get the ice path. And at this point, you're thinking to yourself, actually, this is the wrong clip. So scratch that. We're going to go ahead and get back into the game. There we go. Now Always Want to Fly. The Split Earth is there. And Synderen, he gets telekinesis, and Zik is just auto-attacking him down with Mag. They die almost at the exact same time, and they try to pursue, but unfortunately they didn't have quite enough damage. So a little bit of a blunder there, but I think we got through it A-OK. And Koikva going to be teleporting back to base after he got quite a bit of harassment done to him. So 1-1, 4 minutes in. Mag still farming reasonably well. He's got 11-3, but the Lifestealer is still Black. He's sitting at 16-5.
Yeah, Black is getting quite a bit of farm still being down in this lane. Weaver, though, he is keeping up, but kind of want to talk about this top lane. Jackal is really getting the upper hand now. With the Flat Cannon being level 3, he actually got 1 point into stats as well. So he's forcing Koikwa out of this lane as much as possible with the Flat Cannon harass. And now it looks like he sent up something more on the curry. He's going to get some extra tangos to be able to get the regen up. Koikwa really wants to go for this kill, but he's not going to be able to finish him off.
Yeah, those tangos, of course, going to allow him to eat out of the next sprout that Koikva would otherwise use. And he has boots, and Jackal doesn't, so that's why he was chasing so heavily right there. And Mag trying to contest the pull here with Zik in this bottom lane. Not going to be too effective, though, unfortunately for them. So everyone's kind of just farming away. Black actually going to telekinesis back here, forced to pop the Rage. ICCup not going to be able to get a kill out of it, but still forcing a little bit of extra regeneration out of the carry.
Black is doing really well, just getting that farm that he needs in this aggressive tri lane. They're playing against triple range, so it's always going to be hard, especially when you're playing a melee hero. He has a stout shield though, so he can take some damage. But the question now is he going to go for fast pace boots just to be able to stay in lane and be able to chase? Or, yeah, he's actually going to pick it up straight away. So he's going to be able to have, or get into position easily, or easier. Now when he has the face boots, open wounds going out as well.
Yeah, mid solo kill. Fata actually picks up Bat Rider. As Always Want to Fly is going to drop as well. It seems like Mouse definitely starting things off on the right foot. They did give away the first blood just barely, but they managed to pay 2 back. So the tri lane in the defensive position for Mouse right now doing a very, very nice job. And we talked about it earlier, but this mid matchup is going the opposite direction. Resolution dies solo to Fata.
That's a great kill for Fata. I mean, you can't die in a 1v1, or you're not supposed to die in a 1v1 situation when you play mid, especially when you're on a Bat Rider. You got Flame Break, they should be able to push the puck back, unless you phase shift dodges it, of course, and then you can go onto the high ground with the Firefly as well. So, a bit surprising to see that Resolution goes down, but a great kill for Fata.
And now it's 3-1. Mouse still looking pretty solid here in game number 3. The farm, in terms of overall CS, pretty even. We can see that the Nature's Prophet being played by Quakefight. He's currently sitting at the highest, sitting at 30, followed by Resolution and Jackal, both on the side of ICCup. And Jackal has finally managed to pick himself up some boots. But this lane, the Prophet's still actually edging him out. Not by much, but enough to the point where he's still going to continue farming nicely.
The Flat Cannon harass isn't really enough to force Koikwa back as much as Jackal wants to. He's forced him back once or twice already, but Koikwa, like you mentioned, he's still getting a lot of farm. He's going to hit level 7 now, so he got level 4 Nature's Call, which means that those treants are going to be able to harass Jackal out even more. Until he picks up the face boots, he won't have enough damage to be able to kill off all the treants with the Flat Cannon.
ICCup in the meantime, we just got a chance to see it. They've sacked their tri-lane. They're basically leaving Mag down here on the Weaver all by himself. They realize we've given away too many kills. Mouse tri-lane, maybe a little bit too strong. So even trading the 1-for-1 support with Mag getting the first blood simply wasn't enough to allow them to stay. And the Nature's Prophet ultimate adding extra damage once the tri-lane actually starts getting a handful more levels, and of course the Nature's Prophet himself getting 6. It's really dangerous for heroes like Rubik and Visage because they don't have any escapes. So if they get initiated on, they're relying totally on counter initiation. But Fata in this middle lane still doing very, very well. Highest experience per minute by pretty much 100 at just 8 minutes in, which is pretty spectacular.
Koiko's rotated down now. They got level 2 Diabolic Edict as well, so they're going to get a lot of damage out of this tower. They still got Glyph, but even if they use the Glyph right now, they're going to lose this power because they don't really have too much counter push. Because Mouse can just stick around here. They got all the treants up, and they got Edict up in a few seconds. So an easy tier 1 tower going the way of Mouse, and ICCup isn't really getting, or they are actually getting a trade. So they managed to get top tier 1 as well, so still a good trade for both teams.
And smoke up by Mouse, too. Looks like the supports wanted to try to go towards mid, but Fata going to get another solo kill on Resolution, abusing that haste rune. So Fata playing much, much better on this hero than I feel he played on Slark in the last 2 games even. So his impact being felt here quite nicely. Ice Path going to be a bit off the mark, but the tier 2 drops in favor of Mouse. They push 2 straight away. They notice the support rotate from ICCup, and they say, that's fine, we're going to get your 2 towers. They might even do a bit of damage to Mag. He does have that 10 charge wand, of course, so Black not going to be able to kill him, but he's going to be happy with the extra gold that he just got.
If Black only had a follow-up stun, they would have been able to kill off Mag there. His Shikuchi just went down. He's still only level 5, which means that he wouldn't have had that time lapse, and that would have been an easy kill. But Black still feels comfortable enough to farm quite far up in this lane, and now he's going to finally back out. He can just move into the jungle. He needs about 500 more gold to be able to finish off his armlet if he wants to go for that item choice, but he's going to get drums instead, so they're going to focus on hard pushing.
I like that choice, actually, because Mouse have done so well in their lanes thus far. Resolution's died twice to Fata, solo. Sure, he's farming well, but you've given Fata level 9 at 9 minutes in. He's almost got the max rank of his orb on top of everything else, whereas Batrider's almost 2 levels behind him right now. So for ICCup, they're going to be the ones always defensively postured. They need their Visage to get level 6. He's still not there. I think the choice of going drums on Black, and speaking of, he's going to be able to spot out Zik right here. Oh, completely caught out. Gets out by the Waning Rift. Fly walks into a double coil. Always want to fly in the wrong place at the wrong time. Mouse pulling so far ahead in this game. Jackal actually teleports in too, seemingly to nothing but death. Resolution doing quite a bit of damage with that Firefly. The Flame Break will ultimately get a kill, but he pays with his life. Shrek, unbelievably low, gets picked off by Mag. Fata, he wants the extra kill. Mag, able to get that time lapse off. Black, in the meantime, secures the tier 1 tower. Koikfa might be able to TP out. He gets telekinesis back, though, and it looks like Mag is going to be able to make it a 2-for-1 special. So, Mag gets the kills. They lose the tower, and they force a huge reaction out of ICCup.
They lost 4 heroes in total there on ICCup side, so it was a really good trade for Mouse there. Even though they managed to lose some heroes in the end when they tried to back out, it was still more than worth it. But one thing I wanted to point out, which was a bit surprising to me, is that once they sacked the tri-lane, they just went for pulling instead of actually stacking up the jungle for Resolution. Just because Resolution got killed so many times in mid, he still doesn't have the blink. I mean, it's only 11 minutes in, so he's farming quite well and is very, very close to the blink. But if he would have had these stacks earlier, he could have had that blink for that fight.
Not even just the stacks, just he's got 3 deaths. I mean, he's died 1v1 twice. The Fata, of course, the Nature's Prophet ultimate helped with it, but he would really like to have his blink before the puck starts making his presence being felt, and in that sense, it's already been a little bit of a failure. So ICCup, they're on the defensive still. Not saying they're out of the game by any stretch. Mag is actually still doing reasonably well. He managed to get that double kill in mid. Not the highest CS, but he's 3-0. He's basically almost all of his team's kills, 75%, give or take, where Jackal, his farm and CS is great, but you just don't really feel him having any completed items. He has a Bracer, Phase Boots, and an Aquila, whereas Black is working his way towards that armlet, already has the drums and Phase completely finished.
I'm still very impressed by Resolution, managing to pick up a Blink Dagger at 12 minutes while being killed off 3 times, like we mentioned. It feels kind of like watching Scandal play. Like I mentioned before when we saw Empire play, that he got killed off, I believe, 3 times during DreamHack Winter, and he still managed to get a Blink on his TA. He just hit every last hit, and Resolution's done the same here. He's got 60
Resolution,
last hits.
freshly purchased Blink, gonna find Black, pulls him back into the cooldown. Is it gonna last long enough? No, it won't. The slow still happens, but unfortunately the damage just not there. Pos goes in, throws out a Split Earth, manages to dodge the Scarabs, and Mag, he's looking for something, anything, and they're gonna be able to knock Pos into the woods far enough to where he should end up dropping here. Ice Path coming out from Cinder and Zik, now being focused down by Black and Fata both. Looks like it's a 1-for-1 exchange so far. Mag trying to get out of that coil, not going to be able to do so, and ends up going down. Black still on the chase. He wants Jackal very, very badly right now. Jackal buys a TP while he's running near the side shop. Open Wound's going to be up in about 5 seconds. The orb from Fata just actually think, did it clip him or was it the Infest damage? I'm not entirely sure which one it was. Yeah, I think it was Infest, so that orb incredibly close, but doesn't matter as Fata manages to get the double kill anyway. So they give away the Weaver, they give away the Gyrocopter, Mouse pushing into the tier 1.
Great fight for Mouse there. A bit of an overextension from ICCup. Keep on chasing. They got the slow out on Black, but he still had Rage up, which means that they got no magic damage follow-up. They can't lift him back with the Rubik, and they can't kill him off. And great reaction from Mousesports, TPing in and then getting a 2-for-1 exchange.
Well, so far, ICCup, I mean, they're trying to find openings. They just try to smoke up. They tried to kill Black. Unfortunately, the Rage proving to be a little bit too much of a deterrent for the magic damage to actually kill him. And he's going to have his full armlet after that. Chicken just delivered it to him, so now his damage output, his survivability in fights is going to be ridiculous. He's only level 8, which is actually not that impressive. He's one of the lower experience per minute heroes on the map right now, but he's the highest GPM, which is pretty strange. So Black continuing to do what he does best and just accumulate a ton of items very, very quickly.
Yeah, right now Jackal is actually the top farmer in the game, but he doesn't really have anything just because he's died twice. So he's working his way towards drums, but he's going to need so much more to be able to do anything in these fights, especially like we've seen. He's died in both these big team fights that Mouse has managed to force, and he's got the drum recipe and needs only about 400 gold to finish off those drums. And after that, we'll have to wait and see, because the item build he's gone for before was a lifesteal straight after. But in this game, he's most likely going to need a BKB to be able to survive.
We'll see what his item choice is going to be. I kind of agree with you, though. BKB would definitely be a fantastic choice. So, ICCup sitting in the woods right now, trying to find any farm that they can, but Mouse is also here. They have the Blink Dagger done on Fata. Do they want to try to jump Jackal? It doesn't look like it. No, they're going to go for Resolution instead. The Courier's there, but don't think he's going to be able to kill it. In comes Nature's Prophet. Quakefa has that Shadow Blade finish, and that's going to be a free kill. Give it to Fata. Always want to fly. Stuck in the complete wrong position. And it just seems like ICCup are really just not playing on the same page here. People walking in casually, especially Always Want to Fly. His Clockwork play was actually quite a bit better, but his Rubik, that's the second time where he kind of just wandered in and had no reason being where he was.
He hasn't really had the same impact. And like you said, they're not really on the same page, and Mouse has just started to play like the Mouse we saw before going into this tournament. I mean, they're playing so well. They're finding kills, and they're just controlling this game perfectly.
We can see the golden experience advantage reflected in how well Mouse is playing in this third game. And it's only 15 minutes in. And advantages like Mouse have are advantages that you would typically see at 25, maybe even 30 minutes in. And right now, they are just bringing it to ICCup. And ICCup had yet to really have any response. They haven't done anything to stop it. Fata, he's got his ultimate orb picked up, and Mag forced into a very defensive Weaver build. He did go for the drums, so he's got a bit more durability. I just really feel like the tri-lane, again, seems to be the make-or-break for ICCup. They put a tri-lane in an aggressive position. It didn't work out. Mid, Fata, he did amazingly well. Actually, Resolution going to be able to catch Fata, pulls him to the low ground. There is no blink or orb. He's going to be able to actually phase shift for the moment, but it's not going to matter. A very opportune timing right there, because the orb was on cooldown, and of course, he couldn't use phase shift to actually use his blink.
Great catch from Resolution. Like you said, orb being on cooldown, not being able to survive that. If the orb was up, Fata would have survived that so easily. Dreamcoil as well being down, so couldn't really stop anything. So it was a nice smoke. Still not enough in my opinion, but Jackal getting a solo kill on Quakefa in mid.
And Quakefa a little bit overextended, and that was actually 1 versus 2. Because Leshrac was there as well, so I'm not sure what exactly Quakefa was doing, but he is going to end up giving away a kill. Some creep stacking being done here by Zik. He's going to stack some more Ancients, maybe make sure Jackal gets another item sometime soon, and he's the one who has to be huge this game. He needs, like, everything. We talked about yesterday when you feel like you need 10,000 golden items. that the game is just not going well for you. It's like, I need a BKB, I need an MKB, I need damage. Well, it's going to take a while for him to get those things, because he's only got phase and drums right now, and he is basically what his team is relying on. They had to sacrifice Mag in that bottom lane. The supports left him after they realized that Mouse's tri lane had been triumphant. So where do you go from here?
Mag is still the highest net worth, though, on the side of ICCup, but it's going to be hard for him to carry because Weaver is more just like running around in the team fight and disrupting. And at this point, I feel that they really need to regain some map control, maybe try and get the bottom tier 1 tower, but it's so hard for him to just push because Mouse is so strong at this point. So they just need more farm, but where are they actually going to find it? That's the question.
Mao's doing a very nice job of positioning aggressively. ICCup have some wards, though. They have one ward near where the top rune spot is, up on the high ground, on their side where the tier 1 used to be. But that's it. I mean, they can see people walking into their jungle. The top lane, even the jungle, feels completely unsafe for ICCup. So they're doing basically the only thing they can do, which is kind of group up, maybe look for some picks. The picks are going to maybe push Mouse off their side of the map for a while, but eventually they're going to come back. So ICCup, they need to establish something big. Maybe try to sneak a Roshan. It would probably be unexpected. There's no actual vision in the Roche pit from Mouse at this point in time. Of course, ICCup don't know that, but they have to try to make something happen.
Smoke down for Roche would be a really good decision. They managed to finish off the medallion on the Visage, so they got the minus armor and then of course the familiars. But this tier 2 tower is for sure going to go down unless they pop the fortification, but they're not going to do it. Coil going out on Jackal.
He finds the coil. Always want to fly in the wrong place at the wrong time again. Just going to die straight away. Tried to steal the Dream Coil, got a little bit too close to Mouse, and ended up forfeiting his own life. So the tier 2 given away. Always want to fly drops again.
And this is an opening for Mouse to take Roche if they want to, because they got the Treants, of course, and Black having so much farm at this point. He's picked up a Yasha, so they can just pick this Roche really quick and then maybe go for a base push.
And Black, most likely going to be the recipient of that Aegis, but Mag and Resolution are both here. Orb going to be scouting them out up in the high ground, but Fato actually wants to go in. He's going to initiate straight away. Going to be able to take out Zik with the help of Black. There was an infestation inside. Jackal stuck inside of the ice path, and that's going to be 2 quick deaths going in favor of Mouse. They want to try to find Mag. The Urn is going to be there. Resolution goes back in. He actually gets Fata, and a nice double split earth, followed by the ice path comes out from Mouse, and I dare say things have spiraled out of control here for ICCup. They simply can't find a kill. Mag trying to make it away. It looks like he will survive for the time being, but at what cost?
At this point, they can just take the Roche and go for a slow siege on the base, because ICCup doesn't really have anything to stop Mouse. Mouse is just so damn strong in team fights, and they're getting such good initiations as well. Fata's really been able to find these very good Dream Calls and forcing ICCup to come in and help the hero that they actually catch in the Dream Call.
Yeah, and Black, he gets that Aegis. It's 15,000 gold lead right now for Mouse. That fight, probably the deal breaker for ICCup here in game number 3. There have been a couple of fights where you think, they haven't really had it all together, but that fight for sure, that was when you can say that it kind of all fell apart. So Mouse, brilliant performance so far. I just don't really feel like ICCup have anything. So getting back into this fight, we saw the initiation. There was actually a blink up to the high ground here at the very, very start by Fata. There was an infestation. Black comes out. They immediately kill Fitz. They jump on a Jackal because of the ice path, and they see an opportunity from ICCup to re-engage after they notice how low Fata is. Resolution comes in for the lasso. He gets it, but the double split earth coming out from Paz and the ice path, that was it. There is no BKB anywhere near being completed on the side of ICCup. Mag left alive, but he couldn't manage to do anything on his own.
Just overall a great fight. That double split earth pretty much won them. I mean, they had a really good advantage going into that fight, of course, because they killed off Jackal really fast, and then the Visage, of course. But like you said, the split earth pretty much just won them the rest of the fight.
Everybody on the side of Mouse is unbelievably farmed. If you look at the net worth, it's so skewed. Black is worth twice as much almost as Mag right now. He's got the S&Y completed. He's got the phase boots. He's got the drums. Armlet completed. 1,400 extra gold. If he wanted to, he could go for that Orchid, like you had mentioned earlier. This would be a really nice time to just finish off the inventory with something like that. He doesn't necessarily need his wand anymore, especially when you have something awesome like an Aegis. And a little bit off topic, but every time I look at Black, his wand has 15 charges. Like every single time. Has he actually used his wand this game?
I don't think he's actually needed to use his wand. I mean, I believe they actually got Arcane Boots up on the Jakiro as well as the Shrek, so he doesn't need it for the mana, and he never goes low because they can focus him. He's just too damn strong at this point.
Mouse adding insult to injury here, stealing the Ancient stack away from ICCup, and this seems to be Mouse game to lose at this point. I kind of was favoring ICCup given how well they performed in game number 2. It just feel like Mouse couldn't really react, but in this game, shoes on the other foot. ICCup simply have nothing to the pure aggression and outplaying that's been happening on the side of Mouse, especially Fata. I got to give him all the credit in the world. We kind of ragged on his Slark in game number 1 and 2. Even though Mouse won the first game, I kind of agree with James that the Slark really wasn't why they won. He did some impact game 2. It was kind of non-existent. And then this game, he's kind of turned it all around.
Yeah, the Slark didn't really have too much of an impact, and this puck has just had so much more. I mean, the solo kills in mid have been so huge for them. Like I said, you shouldn't really die in a one-on-one situation like that, especially on a bat against a puck. Of course, puck, if he gets the upper hand, should be able to nuke you down, but that should never really happen because you should always play it very safe, as we see an Infest into Fata. So if they want to Blink Initiate here, Black is sitting inside of Fata, and they can get a really good Dream Coil. He's soon going to hit level 16 as well, so that Dream Coil is going to be level 3.
We'll see how hard they want to try to push this. I would imagine as soon as Mouse see an opportunity, if they can catch Jackal, if they can catch Mag, they're just going to go for it because those are the 2 high priority targets. Ideally, you're going to want to take Jackal down because he's the AoE. Mag would probably be a close second, I think, but here comes Mouse. They're going to be pushing into the tier 3 in this bottom lane. This could be the last stand right now for ICCup unless they want to be dropped down to that lower bracket later on. And that is not where you want to be, especially not this early on. But the tier 3 going to be dropping. Quakefoot picks up the kill on that. The rest of Mouse going to be fully retreating, and they are more than happy to just back up with their free tier 3, reset, and go for the racks.
Resolution is seeing if he can find a pick here, but that could be a very bad decision, especially if he would have jumped for Fata here, because, surprise, yeah, he has a black inside him, so we're going to see Fata picking up a Scythe of Vice now, so he can just go instantly. Even if it doesn't catch a person in a Dream Call, he's going to have a sheep as well, so his initiation is great at this point.
And this is really scary. Mag's actually not even here. He's trying to push out middle lane, and Fata is going to go in. Nice triple coil coming out from Fata. Zik going to be in a ton of trouble trying to burst down Fata, but it simply doesn't matter. The split Earth follow-up is there on Jackal. Black going to be able to get the kill on that Gyrocopter. Resolution trying to pull Fata into the well, but he's not quite fast enough. Force Staff, unfortunately, not quite done. Mag going to get hit by another split Earth, and the Ice Path is there. The supports right now for Mouse, everyone actually and Mouse just coming together, playing absolutely phenomenal in this game 3. Mouse, everything just seemed to click for them. 22-7 in 25 minutes. ICCup tap out. They take the series 2-1.
Mouse just had such great control over this game. They really knew what they wanted to do, and they executed it pretty much perfectly.
Well, ICCup, they're going to be dropped down to the lower bracket to be playing again soon. But Mouse, they go up to the higher bracket. They're going to be quite happy about that. They're going to have basically one more best of 3 that they have to win before they just get that first place spot. And that is the perfect position for them to be in. We emphasize how important these matches are. So, of course, coming up next, we're going to have EG versus the Red Pandas. So the winner of that game will be going up against Mouse, and of course the loser of that game will be meeting ICCup in that lower bracket. Looking forward to those games especially, but once again, props to ICCup for at least putting up a fight. In the first game, it was actually really close for a while. The second game they managed to take. Game 3, it just feels like Mouse had them figured out.
Mouse really knew what they wanted to do. They got an advantage, never really lost it, kind of like ICCup had in the game 2. But ICCup still tried, and they fought really hard, but wasn't really enough. But it was still very nice to see ICCup putting up this much of a fight, because this still means that they have a chance to move on as the second team out of this group.
Well, congratulations once again to Mouse for reaching that second stage in the group stages. But once again, we're back here in the studio, and to go over the game with us, we got James and Bruno.
What have you got for us, Bruno?
It was really one-sided. I think that ICCup, whether they were not as comfortable with this lineup as with the prior one, we always want to fly wrong position. That Rubik get caught up all the time. The same with the Visage. It's just the support play was not there. Puck killing Bad Rider twice in the mid lane solo. It's really surprising to me. Of course, Dream Coil gives you a good advantage. But I mean, you should not get to the point where a Dreamcoin can kill you with a bad rider.
Yeah.
So nothing good. Really.
Yeah, no, I definitely want to focus on Fata playing the puck. For those, this is the first time we've seen him play a conventional mid-hero. He's been playing really good for Mousesports recently, and because of his plays mid, it's opened up a lot of room for Black to be able to farm. So I don't know if I'll give him my MVP, but I think for this game, I think he deserves the MVP. So Fata, like when he first took that role a long time ago, he wasn't something to be too fearful of, but picking up 2 solo kills in the Western qualifiers against a Batrider mid, played the puck brilliantly. Had an unfortunate moment down here where they pulled him where Blink Dagger was on cooldown after the phase shift and he already used Orb. But overall, he's been playing great. The one thing I noticed about ICCup was how much they struggled when they didn't have their clockwork. You just have to think, I can't recall now, was clockwork banned?
No.
Second ban, yeah.
Oh, it was second ban.
Second ban. And I think that was a really good choice by Mousesports to take that clockwork away, because even if you had a clockwork instead of a Rubik, it would have been huge even on the tri-lane as well. Only one, like you guys were talking about how ICCup going to come back into this, and you were looking at are they going to get the farm on a gyrocopter? For me, it was all about the Batrider. It was about getting the picks. One of the most unfortunate moments for the team was they had Jackal, the Rubik played by, can't remember now, but...
Always want to fly.
Oh yeah, always want to fly. And they had a situation where Batrider caught the Lifestealer just by the river. Now, he had 2 options when he picked him up the lasso. Run him back to the gyrocopter, or alternatively, run him back to the Rubik. He actually chose to run him back to the gyrocopter, which meant that the Rubik was out of position, wasn't able to get a telekinesis off before the rage comes. And at the same time, Black was next to the whole set of creeps, which means he could have easily just infested if he wanted to get some life back and then rage and run away. But had Batrider run him back to the Rubik, they would have been able to throw him up, throw him back to the gyro. The rage would have come out.
Would have been a different story.
Yeah, but the point, no guarantee that they could kill him, but they pulled him into a cooldown. I felt they could have pulled him into the Rubik and then got the cooldown and then got the gyro on top of Black with phase boots. And even if you pop Rocket Barrage, sure, he's going to rage. But the fact is, all 3 of you are chasing him from a better position. And once they lost that pick and then they didn't get any more, that's why they slipped so much, and so they couldn't make anything happen with the Batrider. But once again, congratulations to Mousesports. Very solid game. I do believe that the team should be definitely looking at ICCup as a threat, even though they've gone down into the lower bracket. And I would be banning out Clockwork versus them, because they really seem to like the initiation and the aggression that Clockwork brings. And even on the tri-lane, they use it well. Yeah. So that's me finished talking. So Trent, how are we looking? Everything's good?
Everything's good? Yeah, that's great.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to take a really short break. We'll see how really short is.
It's kind of short.
Kind of short. Short as we can, as quick as we can, because when we come back, we want to go into the second game, which is going to be EG versus QPAD Red Pandas in a best of 3. We're going to bring up the brackets just so you can see where ICCup and also Mousesports are going to be waiting. But when we come back, it's game 2 of Group B.